We're back. It's me, Quizmaster Jack. Had a little bit of a buzzword hiatus there, but we're back for the main event. The pop culture, 8 weeks of pop culture. I look forward to doing fairly well on video game questions and utterly failing at pop music questions. Current pop music questions. I'm just excited to get at it. Let's just get at it. Here we go. Question 1.
In this film, Scott Glenn plays Agent Jack Crawford, who remembers teaching the protagonist at UVA. At the end of this film, Catherine Martin is rescued from her kidnapper, Buffalo Bill.
All right, looks like we're gonna have some quick ones. Since they said Buffalo Bill 62% of the way into that question. And that was only 10 and a half seconds. So it looks like they haven't done anything to the length, but that's fine. We'll just live in these mid-clues, get a bunch of 14 points, and have a good time.
While on Requiem, this Eridanus II native is given immunity to the composer by the librarian. In his first appearance, he fights the Flood after rescuing...
Okay. They said, that first sentence sounds like gibberish because it is gibberish, but it's sci-fi gibberish. And they said the librarian. So from that, I was like, okay, we're in Halo. And I really should have I figured we were in Halo. And then by the time I was like, oh yeah, we absolutely are in Halo. They said the Flood. And that confirms Halo, and that's going to be Master Chief from there. All right. Quick on the video game questions. That's what I like.
A writer of this song claimed it references Steely Dan when describing a group's steely knives.
They stabbed it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Give me lyrics to Hotel California. I'll get it right every time. Every time. Man, that was a first clue, Buzz, and still only 600 celerity. These are gonna go fast. This is gonna be fast rounds, I think. All right, full title or commonly used shortened version. It's Always Sunny. It's Always Sunny. Usually.
In this musical, two characters sing the old Ivy fight song. In its 2011 revival, Daniel Radcliffe sang I Believe in You.
That should probably have been. See, I don't know enough about How to Succeed in Business without really trying, other than Daniel Radcliffe was in a revival of it. I don't actually know enough about the musical to know what a shortened term for it would be. I don't know. I'm not in enough on that musical to know where I could end the title and still have it be correct. So I had to do the whole thing, which I think I got letter for letter, capitalization aside. I got every single letter. How to Succeed maybe is where you cut it off. I just don't know.
This actor voiced a wolf named Classified in Penguins of Madagascar. This man lent his voice to the malevolent Dormammu in a film.
Yep. Played Dormammu and Doctor Strange himself. So really, that scene at the end of Doctor Strange, spoilers for Doctor Strange, is really just a conversation between Benedict Cumberbatch and himself. He also voiced Smaug. So when he tells himself he's come to bargain, he's really just telling himself that he has come to bargain. And ultimately isn't the hardest actor to work with yourself when it comes down to it. I don't know anything about acting.
A PhD student on this show resumes dating Steve after binge-watching Riverdale. This show is narrated by tennis star John McEnroe. Flashbacks on this show depict Mohan, the deceased father of the teenage Davy. Mindy Kaling created, for 10 points, what Netflix show named for a party game?
Ooh, I don't know this one. Netflix show named for a party game. I don't think this is it. I don't know what this is. Never Have I Ever. Okay. I have not heard of that. Or I do not think that's ever even like shown up on my here's something you should watch on Netflix opening thing. So yeah. Well, it was a good run. Perfect run's over. I would just give up from here. What's even the point if you don't get them all right? I had no shot at that question at all.
An author in this film wrote The Boat Rocker and is threatened with kidnapping by a man who makes a finger gun inside a jacket. Burt Lancaster's last role was as Moonlight Graham in this film. Joe Jackson's ghost appears at an Iowa farm in...
Okay. I don't know. That was Burt Lancaster's last movie. That's a nice little piece of trivia. Yeah, it has been a long time since I've seen Field of Dreams. I think I've actually been to the field in Iowa. Not that it's hard to get there from Minnesota. Yeah, it's been a while. So I kind of lost the plot about what actually happens in that movie. Because he like gets the voices in his head to tell him to build the field. And then at some point he goes to Chicago and hangs out with James Earl Jones. And then he brings, I don't know why, but like somehow bringing James Earl Jones to the field summons the ghost of everybody else. And then James Earl Jones goes into the cornfield with him at the end, and then he plays catch with not Shoeless Joe Jackson, because that wasn't actually his dad. It was one of the other players. I forget which one, because it's been a while.
In a 1951 film, this actor plays a psychologist who raises a chimpanzee like a child. This man's supporting role in a film about football coach Newt Rockne earned him the nickname The Gipper.
It's Ronald Reagan. Have they had... I feel like they've had a question about the acting career of Ronald Reagan in the pop culture stuff before, but that may have been a while ago. And that's just kind of what happens when you play trivia. You get recurring themes. But yeah, win one for the Gipper. It's Ronald Reagan.
This business is below John Allen Hill's seafood restaurant, Melville.
It's Cheers, the bar. All right, that was my first 20, I think. I think even the Hotel California one, I didn't get a 20 on, but there's a 20 there. Yeah. So, I mean, when you say this business, you're like, okay, are you talking about a real business? But then they said below a seafood restaurant, and that's Cheers. Maybe possibility of Best Buzz there, since I got in before they said the name, but I think there's going to be a lot of people on there underneath the seafood restaurant with me.
Most of the uncensored version of this song's video shows a YouTube buffering circle over a shower head. The singer advises get your soldiers and vows I don't run from nothing dog in this third single from Montero. For 10 points, named as 2021 song by Jack Harlow and Lil Nas X.
They said Montero, right? That was a single? I don't think it was this one. Yeah, I had no shot at that. Outside of Old Town Road, not a huge Lil Nas X fan. Oh well, you know, I'm always gonna drop some recent pop culture stuff or pop music stuff. So I've missed the recent TV and recent music. So recent video games, I'll be okay.
In 2014, the hedge fund Starboard criticized this restaurant chain, leading to a takeover of parent company Darden. In 2012, it dropped its slogan, "When you're here, you're family."
Yeah. At the OG, them OG breadsticks. Yeah, Darden was familiar. I think there's a lot of companies that are under Darden though, so it's maybe that wasn't a good place to. That probably wouldn't have been a good place to buzz. I mean, obviously it wasn't for me since I didn't have it there. But when you're here, your family. That's OG.
In this musical, Helen sings "He Wants, He Wants, He Wants" in a number about a house on Maple Avenue. The lead of this musical wants to wear jeans, not her party dress, and later comes out as lesbian. For 10 points, name.
I mean, it's kind of the lesbian musical, so I feel like it's got to be Fun Home. It's kind of a, I'll admit, kind of a generalization on my part, but I was right. Yep, the Alison Bechdel musical based off of a graphic novel, which probably the most successful musical based off of a graphic novel. I don't think Spider-Man counts because those are comic books and not successful musical. Annie was a comic strip, so that doesn't count. Yeah, I think I'm safe in saying that Fun Home is the most successful musical based off of a graphic novel.
The antagonist of this show's final season was Faye, a special master played by Denise Crosby. A 2019 spin-off of this show was titled Pearson. The litigator Mike Ross concealed his lack of a law degree on, for 10 points, What USA show that starred Patrick J. Adams and Meghan Markle.
Okay. All those USA shows are kind of the same to me. You could show me almost an entire episode of one, and I probably wouldn't be able to tell you what it is unless it was like Burn Notice or something. Oh, that Blue Sky, the Blue Sky shows on USA. I was pretty sure it was Suits, but I didn't want to miss out on 10 points, so I just let it go to the end, and then they said Meghan Markle. So that had to be it. Denise Crosby, Tasha Yar herself. When they said Denise, I was thinking about Denise Richards for most of that, but they said Crosby, so that's Tasha Yar.
A lawsuit that ended the inverse ratio rule accused this song of plagiarizing Spirit's song Taurus. This song asks, "Can you hear the wind blow?" and repeats, "Ooh, makes me wonder." For 10 points, a woman sure all that glitters is gold is buying the title entity of...
Oh. But yeah, so it's Stairway to Heaven. There's a woman who's sure all that glitters is gold and she's buying a Stairway to Heaven. There were other lyrics and I couldn't place them. That's my bread and butter is lyrics, and I just couldn't place them from there. I don't know what the inverse ratio thing is. Were they saying that Stairway to Heaven was a ripoff of another song, or that somebody ripped off Stairway to Heaven? Because a lot of people ripped off Stairway to Heaven, at least like spiritually, but can't say I've heard the song itself being accused of being plagiarized.
A 2019 remake of this film replaced two stereotypical characters with Devon and Rex, who were owned by Aunt Sarah. At Tony's restaurant, this film's two leads kiss while eating.
There's a live-action remake of Lady and the Tramp. I do not remember that at all. In 2019? 2 years ago? One COVID ago? Oh, they must have replaced the Siamese cats because they were, let's see, grossly offensive. Yeah, I think that's the way to put that. And then I talked about owned by somebody, like the obviously that they were pets, and then Pets plus spaghetti equals 1 Lady and the Tramp.
This number of points is needed to win a standard game of euchre, and in the board game,
This is 10. Give me that euchre knowledge. I don't get 20 points for knowing 10 points. I was waiting. I was... that was a chance I had to be really bold and to just, like, this number of points, just go in and shoot for it. Because at that point, like, what's the answer going to be? Other than, like, 10 or, like, set, like... Because I was priming myself for them to say Catan. Which you do need 10 points to win in Catan. At least the base version of Catan. So I said euchre, and it took me like a quarter of a second to readjust there and go like, no, yeah, it is 10. Actually, I wonder if they were saying euchre or Catan. I wonder if Catan was actually like the second part of that clue. Anyway, I'll take euchre knowledge. Euchre's a great game.
A song with this title, built around a Charlie Puth keyboard riff, notes, "I do the same thing I told you that I never would." A song of this title that notes "The Clock is Ticking" is by Zed and Alessia Cara.
Uh-oh.
For 10 points, what Justin Bieber and the Kid Laroi song begs the listener to linger?
I have absolutely no clue. It's not... Is that a zombie thing? No, I don't think that's a Cranberries joke. Okay, sure. The only way I would have gotten that question if... And maybe I was wrong, and maybe like one of them was actually a reference, but the only song I know called Stay was the Dave Matthews song. Yeah, because they talk about Charlie Puth, I knew I was in trouble. No, they didn't talk about the Dave Matthews at all, because they were talking about Charlie Puth, and then the second one was something about Alessia Cara, and the last one was Justin Bieber and some other person that I've literally never heard of. All right, dropping the ones I know I'm going to drop, but doing all right on the other ones.
This film begins in Phoenix, Arizona, where $40,000 is embezzled by a secretary. In this film, Lila finally discovers that a murderer believes he is his own mother. For 10 points, name.
No. Lila must be the other female character in Psycho. I was on No Country for Old Men for a second there, but it's not embezzled money. It's that's just drug money. But yeah, opening part of Psycho, like the first 20 minutes of Psycho is just Marion Crane doing white collar crime and running away. And then meeting a really creepy guy. And I won't spoil it from there. I'm not going to spoil Psycho from there for everybody. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. The Hitchcock version, not the who did the remake? Gus Van Sant? Did Gus Van Sant do the shot-for-shot remake with Vince Vaughn? Vince Vaughn, who got his horror shakes in Freaky, a recent horror movie.
On an episode of this show, the protagonist's inability to make a Waldorf salad irritates an American. After telling staff don't mention the war, this show's protagonist goose steps in front of German guests. For 10 points, what...
I think it's got to be this. It's got to be Fawlty Towers. I don't have a lot of Fawlty Towers knowledge, but pissing off Americans and Germans seems definitely like something John Cleese would do in a show where he is running a hotel, I believe. Is this the hotel? Yeah. I was just skating along on... So there's a distinct, in the way I play, there's a distinct, like, I have absolutely no idea what's going on. No way I can get it. To, I'm pretty sure what's going on. I'll get like 12 to 13 points out of those things. But yeah, don't know much about Fawlty Towers, so just kind of made the assumption.
Several songs on this album, including Lounge Act, were inspired by its singer's brief relationship with Toby Vale. Its cover art, the subject of a 2021 lawsuit filed by Spencer Eldon, depicts a swimming naked baby.
Okay. Yep, that's Nevermind, the seminal Nirvana album. One of the few albums I think is actually worth asking about. So I don't know if I've done my album rant for a while, but when it comes to trivia, I don't think albums are worth asking about, especially if they've come out recently, because the way people experience music now has very little to do with albums. Where like Weird Al isn't putting out albums anymore because he can just do a parody of a song and then just put it out. He doesn't have to wait for it to come out on an album. Like albums don't mean anything anymore because I don't think that's how the majority of people experience music anymore. So you can just like throw out singles and still be very popular, very successful. But Nevermind is the last album worth asking about. I'm going to put my foot down there.
This actor performs the song Willow on the soundtrack to the 2018 film High Life. In 2019, this actor was announced as Ben Affleck's successor in the DCEU.
It's Robert Pattinson? Yeah, because he's Batman now. Yeah, I spelled the last name right, too. Yep, Bob Pattinson, your new Batman. I don't know what to think about that. The DCEU movies have just been so hit and miss. That last Wonder Woman was not a good movie. I haven't seen the new Suicide Squad. And haven't seen any of Batfleck. So I don't really know. But I like Shazam. Shazam was fun. Yeah. New Batman, Bob Pattinson.
A 1985 film about this war was such a bomb that star Al Pacino took a 4-year break from movies.
Oh, shit.
A 2000 film about this war features William Tavington's dragoons burning a church full of civilians.
Yeah, it's the American Revolution. Because that last movie they were talking about was The Patriot. What was the Pacino movie that bombed and he decided to take Olympics off of acting? I don't even know. I don't have the slightest clue what movie they're talking about with that Pacino clue. Huh. But yeah, what was it? Lucius Malfoy puts all like the entire village into the church and burns it down to piss off William Wallace's crew. Heath Ledger was in that too. Donald Logue, I think too. Was that Donald Logue who was playing like a Frenchman? No, Donald Logue wasn't playing the Frenchman. He was just like a mountain man. Somebody else was playing the Frenchman. I'm pretty sure Donald Logue was one of like the gorillas with Mel Gibson.
A humanoid example of these animals is Jade's uncle Paige in Beyond Good and Evil.
How could I not get 20? I had to buzz in on Paige. That character's name is spelled Paeg. Because they didn't just want to call him Pig, I guess. Uncle Pig. I don't even know where this question goes from that. Maybe talk about like Okma? That weird Netflix movie about the giant pig? Maybe it was all video game stuff. So what other video game pigs are there? There's the pig that's in Star Wolf. the rival to Star Fox in the Star Fox series. I feel like there's an obvious video game pig that I'm missing. There's not really any pigs in the Mario verse. Ganon in Legend of Zelda is sort of a pig. That's kind of a stretch. That might not have been a full video game question. That may have just been a pigs in pop culture.
A woman on this show spends 4 hours at a restaurant called Raw while pursuing the waiter Jerry Jared. Creator Darren Starr based this show on a book by Candace Bushnell. Kim Cattrall played Samantha on...
Okay. Oh no! They probably won't give me that one. That's an interior article. That's just a punt right there. I had and. See, when you're just saying stuff, you can be like, Six and see. Six and see. That was a little bit of a brain fart there. That's points I should have got, but I just messed it up. They probably shouldn't give that to me. They may give it to me. I don't know.
2 of these pieces deliver Bowden's mate. The third move for white in the Rui Lopez puts one of these pieces on b5. Hyper-modern openings and Indian defenses often involve fianchettoing these pieces, which begin on the F and C files. For 10 points, what chess pieces only move diagonally?
There's a lot of like stuff you need actual chess knowledge in there for. And then they started talking about what file they were in, so then I could actually like start doing the math, but at that point they were already saying can only move diagonally, so it's not one out of 8. So what's pawn, rook, knight, bishop, king, queen. So there's only 6 pieces. There's 1 out of 6 chance.
In one game in this series, the fighter Sabin suplexes a train.
You know, you talk about train suplexing, that can only be Final Fantasy. I don't think it's canonical that he suplexes the train, but he is able to suplex the train. Because he's a fighter and he has the ability to suplex, so you just like put in the tell him to do the suplex command, and then he suplexes whatever's in front of him. Doesn't matter if it's a train or not. He just suplexes it. The Spoony Bards out there will remember that moment from an old Final Fantasy. I don't even know which one it is. Like 3/6. I think that might have been the one where he suplexed the train. Maybe 4. I don't remember offhand.
In a film in this series, a performance of Turandot is the setting of an assassination attempt by Ilsa Faust and Syndicate snipers. A 2018 film in this series features an anarchist CIA agent played by Henry Cavill. For
the old, gotta reload your arms when you're Henry Cavill and you're gonna fight. Yeah, it's Mission Impossible. I was tempted. I don't know. That first, like, an assassination during a performance of Turandot sounds a lot like something that would happen in a Bond movie, which makes sense that would also just happen in a Mission Impossible movie. They're inspired by for a reason.
In a novel by this man, Substance D addicts are investigated by undercover agent Bob Arctor. In another of his novels, John Isidore helps escape Nexus 6 replicants. A Scanner Darkly is by, for 10 points, what author whose Do Androids...
Is that Philip K. Dick? Oh no, I'm kind of blanking. All I have is... Oh, I feel like this is wrong. But it's the guy that wrote the thing that inspired Blade Runner. It is Philip K. Dick. All right. Whew. Glad I stuck with it, because I was having some moments of serious doubt there. I guess some of those sci-fi authors just kind of blend together, and which one you pick out of the mass you kind of forget sometimes. But yeah, Scanner Darkly and do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, which was the inspiration for Blade Runner.
This man wrote and performed the song I'm a Virgin for a guest role on American Dad. He describes a man connected to that woman that you used to be in his verse on Doja Cat's You Right.
Uh-oh.
For 10 points, what singer's album, Beauty Behind the Madness, features The Hills and Can't Feel My...
Okay. Oh, come on. They should give me that one too. I forget. Right, if you're gonna take one E out, why not just take all the E's out? Weekend. I think I'm demonstrating knowledge there at least. And that was the one recent pop thing I knew. Because they talked about I can't feel my face when I'm with you. Also The Hills. I know The Hills.
A character in this film hosts a podcast called Titan Truth that seeks to expose the company Apex. At the end of this film, a character uses his axe to destroy a robot and save Hong Kong. For 10 points, what 2021 film depicts a battle between a reptilian monster and a giant ape?
What is this called? Is it Godzilla versus Kong? Is that the order? It is the order. Godzilla versus Kong. They spend most of that question talking about the humans. Why would you... The humans don't matter in kaiju movies. Unless they are piloting robots that are fighting the kaiju. That's all right. Haven't caught that one. Haven't caught that flick.
A 2021 Samantha Stark documentary showed a clip of Diane Sawyer making this person cry. That documentary, titled Framing This Person, explored how the song Cry Me a River was an attack on her.
I mean, Cry Me a River was Justin Timberlake, and that was pretty soon after he broke up with Britney Spears, and she's in the zeitgeist. So yeah. It's Britney. Why did Diane Sawyer make Britney Spears cry? Man, Britney Spears, yeah, she had a tough go of it. It's tough being a young star.
This actor wore bow ties while playing the incompetent news anchor Earl Cannonbear on SCTV. On another show, he played a former video store chain CEO named Johnny who goes broke and moves into a motel with Moira. For 10 points, what Canadian co-starred with his son Dan on Schitt's Creek?
What's his name? It's not Fogel. Levy. Levy. Ooh, Eugene Levy. Ooh. Save that one. Yeah, one of the... I was trying to run through all the SCTV people I knew, and he slipped my mind at that point. But it makes sense he was the one that they would be talking about at this point, because it's not like John Candy's doing that much for obvious reasons. Yeah, that crew is kind of at the end of making stuff, except for Eugene Levy, huh?
This artist says, "Your world isn't real, your world's an ideal," in a song whose chorus repeats a René Descartes quote. The singer of Therefore I Am recorded the title song for the James Bond film No Time to Die. Happier Than Ever is a 2021 album by, for 10 points, what singer of Bad Guy?
Okay. Thank you. You think I would get it? Like I'm pretty good with the Bond, with the Bond themes, except for the recent ones, obviously. Who did the one for Spectre? I don't even remember who did the one for Spectre, or who did the one for Quantum of Solace. It's weird how you forget the ones that aren't on very good movies, huh? But obviously Adele did Skyfall, and then Chris Cornell did You Know My Name for Casino Royale, which is stealthily like one of the best Bond themes. It's definitely the best Bond opening sequence or opening credits. Um, and having a pretty good song by Chris Cornell really helps that out.
A 3DS game based on this sport is partly titled Rusty's Real Deal. A notoriously hard Flash game depicting this sport stars Winnie the Pooh. The game band developed an absurd online simulation of this.
Okay. The game band, creators of Blaseball, which I was into when it first started out, and then they went on a hiatus, and I fell hard off of it. Peanuts for the Peanut God. But yeah, it's baseball. I think like backyard sports or the show. The show is probably the giveaway. Excuse me. I've not heard about the Rusty thing. I've not heard about the Winnie the Pooh baseball game that is notoriously hard.
In 2014, this chain's merger with Burger King led to the creation of RBI. This chain, which opened a location in Iqaluit in 2010, sells donut holes partly called Bits.
It's Tim Hortons, right? Timbits? Yeah, because Dunkin' Donuts has Munchkins, so it's Tim Hortons. That's Tim Hortons, the restaurant chain that has the most locations in Canada, like by a lot, I think. I grew up in Minnesota, and we didn't even have Tim Hortons, so we had to get our donuts the old-fashioned way from local places. Yeah, Tim Hortons.
A character on this show named Dr. Senator helps to invent an early version of the credit card. The Cannon and Fada families cement a pact by exchanging sons on this show. Chris Rock played a Kansas City mobster on, for 10 points, What FX Anthology...
Wait, that's just Fargo. Speaking of places near where I grew up. Yeah, Chris Rock was in the Fargo that was like a throwback. It was a little like Boardwalk Empire-y. Which is why I was kind of tempted to buzz in and say Boardwalk Empire at some point. There's a character named Dr. Senator in Fargo? That seems like... I was thinking like Venture Brothers would be a show that had somebody named Dr. Senator, but I guess they already have Dr. Girlfriend, so that'd be Gilding the Lily.
This actress played a mystery woman trying to kill Jake for jilting her in The Blues Brothers.
It's Carrie Fisher. I don't know what else to say. It's Carrie Fisher in that movie. She's got a flamethrower at one point. Man, I wonder if The Blues Brothers holds up. I haven't seen that in a while. But yeah, you could go on for all sorts of Carrie Fisher stuff from there. She was in Drop Dead Fred. What non-Star Wars stuff she was in? She was in one of the Screams. I think she was in Scream 3. She was on 30 Rock for that one episode. Yeah, I don't know where that... I feel like her being on the Blues Brothers, and maybe you just go into stuff about Star Wars from there. Because I feel like the Blues Brothers is a pretty famous thing about Carrie Fisher. Or it's the kind of thing where they're a well-known actor for one thing. So as a trivia person, you just kind of pick up what their second most famous thing is. And for Carrie Fisher, that's being in the Blues Brothers, in my opinion.
This character's sidekick used the name Tempest, although his real name is Garth. After this hero lost his left hand, he replaced it with a prosthetic harpoon. For 10...
This is Aquaman. Should spell that right, at least. Aquaman? Yeah, not much to say. Like, it's going to be an aquatic superhero, and they're not really going to ask about Namor. That's the one thing DC has up on Marvel, is they have the better sea-based superhero.
This singer describes three-wheelin' in the foe with the gold D's in a song whose chorus ends, "Hey, must be the money." In another song...
It's just Nelly. See? You put lyrics in there, I can get the questions. Yeah, that's Ride With Me. If you want to go take a ride with me, three women in the foe with the gold D's. Oh, why must we feel this way? Oh, must be the money. Got it. So, like, pop lyrics from songs that got played on the radio a lot when I was in high school and listening to the radio. More of those, please.
This game's title theme is Malon Merrick's Look Sharp, Be Sharp March. Mr. Dream is the final boss.
Mr. Dream is what they replaced Mike Tyson with after Mike Tyson. I forget if their license expired, because the game originally came out as Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and then something happened that I don't remember, and they had to take Mike Tyson off of the product, and I believe they replaced him with Mr. Dream. I can't believe I put Sex in the City. Anyway, my video game celerity will be pretty good. I think baseball is the only one I waited on.
This actor played Nick Sachs, who investigates a kidnapping with help from a blue unicorn on the show Happy. He portrays a detective whose wife Kathy was killed by a car bomb on an NBC show subtitled Organized Crime.
Shit, what's this guy's name?
10 Points What Man first played Elliot Stabler on Law & Order SVU.
Oh no, what's his name? It's like Italianish. Crap. No, it's not this. What's this guy's name? I had it off of the first clue. Maloney. I could have told you this is a Law and Order guy right after that Happy clue. That unicorn was voiced by Patton Oswalt. Yeah, Chris Maloney. Man, that's on me. That's just me forgetting the name of a actor who has spent thousands of hours on television.
A version of this character, introduced in 1993, wore a purple vest and was called Earring Magic. His best friend, Alan, is the boyfriend of Midge, a best friend of this character's girlfriend and her kid sister, Skipper. For 10 points...
Oh, is it Ken? I feel like this has to be Ken. Yeah. I think I was actually... I got a little lucky there, because I think I was buzzing in on Jughead for some reason. So I thought we were in the Archieverse. I don't know why. I was mad at myself for not remembering Chris Maloney. But yeah, right as I was buzzing in, they said Skippers. That's obviously Midge. Midge is why I thought it was Archie. Because there's a character named Midge in Archie. There's a obscure-ish character named Midge in Archie. But saved by the buzz there.
This character killed the mother of the superhero Moondragon. He was turned to stone by Adam Warlock after a conflict in which he killed his own adopted daughter, Gamora.
Okay. I was like, all right, we're in Galactic Marvel here since you're talking about Adam Warlock, so just give me a clue as to which one of the like, if we're talking about a hero or a villain, and then they said adopted daughter Gamora, and that puts it right on Thanos.
Like I Know What I Like, this song features backup vocals from Ronnie Lott and Joe Montana. This song is dubbed its band's undisputed masterpiece in a monologue from American Psycho. The line "I used to be a
Oh,
renegade" opens for 10 points. What Huey Lewis and the
is
News song
this?
about conformity?
Yeah, that's the one about conformity. I Want a New Drug is not about obliquely. It's got to be Hip to Be Square. Because you might be able to say obliquely that, like, I Want a New Drug is about conformity, but Hip to Be Square fits better. I've never actually seen American Psycho. So, I mean, obviously the memes that originate from it let you know a little bit about it, but I've never seen the movie.
This state was the setting of the Holly Hunter series Saving Grace. A teenager from this state named Bear meets a spirit guide on the show Reservation Dogs. Saf Safri was mauled at this state's GW Zoo. For 10 points, Tiger King's Joe Exotic ran for governor of...
We were somewhere, we were somewhere in the Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico range, and Tiger King is the one that puts you squarely in Oklahoma.
In a 2021 X-Men comic, this place is renamed after the mutant-inhabited island Araco, which is transported there. This is the birthplace of the criminal Decay Duraz and the Teen Titans member Megan Morse. The green-skinned John Jones is a...
Okay, he's the Martian Manhunter, so it's got to be Mars. Pretty close, pretty filling up the last half of this quiz with comics questions. You know, that Thanos like a handful of questions ago. Now Mars. But yep, a whole bunch of individual clues from the comics about Mars, and then talk about John Jones, the Martian Manhunter.
This film's director appears in it, hosting a video tutorial on creating sexy lips. Its protagonist is killed by Al Monroe before she can carve Nina's name on...
Okay. Oop. I believe this just came up in the film challenge, and I'll say the same thing. Emerald Fennell, director of this, and makes sense a true cameo in it because she's an actress herself. Most famously playing Camilla Parker Bowles in The Crown, if you remember the last time I broadcast one of these. But that makes sense. That's not a dig at Buzzword. That's just that's probably just an unfortunate collation thing where the people that put together the film challenge probably weren't the same people that were working on the pop culture stuff, so they didn't know.
In a song on this album, 5EO Foreign warns, "If you got a name, then you gotta protect it." It includes two versions of a song that repeats "I'll be honest, we all liars," one of which features Jay-Z. Off the Grid and Jail are on for 10 points. What 2021 album named for Kanye West's mother?
How about Gina? I got some of the letters. I had no shot at that one. No shot at it, nothing to say.
In 2005, 110 people won this game's second prize by following fortune cookies. A nearly $1.6 billion prize in this game was claimed by 3 winners in early 2016. For 10 points, what lottery, similar to the Mega Millions, has its
It's got to be Powerball then. It's either Mega Millions or Powerball. I don't know those offhand. A little lower than I want to be, but maybe we'll have some points coming.
This woman played the Brooklyn resident Shay on the last OG. Ali Wong and this woman voiced the title Birds on Tuca and Birdie. She hosts Kids Say the Darndest Things on CBS.
I think that's Tiffany Haddish. I feel okay guessing that here. Hey, it was Tiffany Haddish. Yeah, I snuck into the 600s there. You know, I think I did as well as I could have for what I had. There's just some of that stuff. I mean, that recent pop music, it just kills me every time. Just kills me every time because I just don't know it. And I don't see myself ever learn it because I'm not I'm gonna sound like an old man here, but I just don't like it that much. Like, I'm not a big fan of recent music. But that's all right. We got over 600. That's at least the minimum we want. Don't feel like we left too many points on the table, except for that Sex in the City one, which they probably shouldn't give me, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky. But that's it for week 1 of the season 5 pop culture. Thanks for watching.